I saw you yesterday, but you didn't see me.
Really? When was that?
I think it was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. You were in the supermarket on Sunset Boulevard.
That wasn't me.
No, I swear I saw you. I think you were with Kelsey.
No, Joy. I was taking Clayton to his baseball game yesterday around 4:30.
Really? Then it was someone who looked exactly like you. I saw you yesterday, but you didn't see me.
Really? When was that?
I think it was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. You were in the supermarket on Sunset Boulevard.
That wasn't me.
No, I swear I saw you. I think you were with Kelsey.
No, Joy. I was taking Clayton to his baseball game yesterday around 4:30.
Really? Then it was someone who looked exactly like you. I saw you yesterday, but you didn't see me.
Really? When was that?
I think it was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. You were in the supermarket on Sunset Boulevard.
That wasn't me.
No, I swear I saw you. I think you were with Kelsey.
No, Joy. I was taking Clayton to his baseball game yesterday around 4:30.
Really? Then it was someone who looked exactly like you.
I saw you yesterday, but you didn't see me. When was that? It was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. That wasn't me. I swear it was you. I think you were with Kelsey. No, I was taking Clayton to a baseball game yesterday around 4:30.
Did you talk to Mr. Forbes yesterday?
Yes, I talked to him yesterday, and I was on the phone with him again this morning.
Was he pleased with our work?
Yes, he seemed very pleased. He was telling me how much he liked the plans, and I told him how hard I worked on them.
We were all working hard last week, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Did you talk to Mr. Forbes yesterday?
Yes, I talked to him yesterday, and I was on the phone with him again this morning.
Was he pleased with our work?
Yes, he seemed very pleased. He was telling me how much he liked the plans, and I told him how hard I worked on them.
We were all working hard last week, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Did you talk to Mr. Forbes yesterday?
Yes, I talked to him yesterday, and I was on the phone with him again this morning.
Was he pleased with our work?
Yes, he seemed very pleased. He was telling me how much he liked the plans, and I told him how hard I worked on them.
We were all working hard last week, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Did you talk to Mr. Forbes yesterday? Yes, I talked to him yesterday, and I was talking to him again this morning. He was telling me how much he liked the plans, and I told him how hard I worked on them. We were all working hard last week, weren't we?
Well, everything's ready for the party. Are you going to come?
Of course, but I have to take the bus.
The bus? Why?
I had an accident yesterday morning.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, but my truck isn't.
What happened?
I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me.
What did you do?
I stopped. I didn't hit the dog, but the driver behind me ran into my truck.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is the driver all right?
Yes, fortunately.
Well, everything's ready for the party. Are you going to come?
Of course, but I have to take the bus.
The bus? Why?
I had an accident yesterday morning.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, but my truck isn't.
What happened?
I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me.
What did you do?
I stopped. I didn't hit the dog, but the driver behind me ran into my truck.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is the driver all right?
Yes, fortunately.
Well, everything's ready for the party. Are you going to come?
Of course, but I have to take the bus.
The bus? Why?
I had an accident yesterday morning.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, but my truck isn't.
What happened?
I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me.
What did you do?
I stopped. I didn't hit the dog, but the driver behind me ran into my truck.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is the driver all right?
Yes, fortunately.
I had an accident yesterday morning. What happened? I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me. What did you do? I stopped. I didn't hit the dog, but the driver behind me ran into my truck.
Oh, hi. Welcome. I was reading and I didn't notice you come in. I was reading and I didn't notice you come in. Was reading is an example of the tense that we are going to be learning in Book 4, Unit 4, the past continuous tense. Do you remember in Dialogue 3, David is telling Monica the story of the accident to his van. He says to her, I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me. Again, he says, I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard when a dog crossed the street in front of me. Now, I was driving is also an example of the past continuous tense. Was driving is part of David's story. He's telling us that he was in process. He was in the process of driving when an event occurred. This dog crossed the street. Crossed, of course, as we learned in Unit 13, is an example of the simple past tense. Simple past tends to be an event that has both a beginning and an end in the past. Whereas the past continuous, I was driving, is an event that was in progress, that was occurring, that was happening, while or when, at the point that this other event happens. The dog crossed the street. Let's take a look now at how we form the past continuous, as well as, when we get to our exercises, many examples about the ways that we can use it correctly. It's a wonderful tense for telling stories about what was happening to us when something occurred in the past. So, the past continuous tense. Ta-da! Here we go. We form the past continuous very much the way we form the present continuous. But instead of using the present tense of to be, we use the past of to be, plus our verb, the base form of the verb, plus ing. So, I was plus, let's use our sample verb work, plus ing. I was working. Then we'll continue. You were working. He was working. She was working. It was working. We were working. You were working. They were working. Okay? Now, let's practice this past continuous tense. Okay? Ready? In the affirmative. I. You tell me. I was working. You. You were working. He. He was working. She. She was working. It. It was working. Now, how about the plural? We. We were working. You. You were working, and they. They were working. Now, similarly, we also have negatives in the past continuous. So we use the past negative of to be plus our verb plus ing. So, in this case, I was not plus work plus ing. I was not working. You were not working. He was not working. She was not working. It was not working. We were not working. You were not working. They were not working. Okay, good. So let's practice the negative form of the past continuous tense. I. Okay, next. Good. You were not working. Next. He was not working. Next. Let me hear you. She was not working. Next. It was not working. Next. We were not working. Next. You were not working. Next. They were not working. Very good. Now, of course, there are also negative contractions for us to deal with here. So, what are we going to do? You've just seen it happen here on our screen. I was not working. We eliminate the O in not, add the apostrophe. It becomes I wasn't working. You weren't working. He wasn't working. She was not working. We're going to take that O out of there, and it's going to become she wasn't working. It wasn't working. We weren't working. You, get rid of the O, were not becomes weren't. You weren't working. And they, get rid of the O, add the apostrophe in its place, they weren't working. Now, let's practice. Oh, let's not practice. Let's just go right on to interrogatives. In this case, the interrogative of to be plus the verb plus ing. The interrogative of to be in the case of I is going to be was I. In the case of you is were you. We invert that subject and verb. Plus work plus ing. Were you working? Was I working? Were you working? Was he working? Tell me, was she working? Was it working? Were we working? Were you two working, plural? Were they working? Okay? So remember, to form the interrogative, we invert the verb to be. In other words, I was becomes was I working? Were you working? Was he working? She was becomes was she working? Was it working? Were we working? Were you working? Were they working? Now, let's practice that. How do you make the question of using I in the for the interrogative of the past continuous? Was I working? Good. Next. Were you working? Good. Next. Was he working? Next. Was she working? Next. Was it working? The shade of meaning is a little different when we say it and works or working, isn't it? It means it's not is a person working, but is it functioning? Is it working? Was it working? The whole thing. Were we working? Next. Were you working? Next. Were they working? Good. Now, let's do some exercises. So, we're going to start with our short answers. First of all, take a look at the picture here. Question: was he fixing his bike? Notice that inversion of he and was. What's the answer? Yes. And then he was. The short answer to the question using the past continuous is just yes, he was. Now, look at the picture in this particular case. This looks like a girl who is doing her homework. Was she fixing her bike? Obviously the answer is no. And then tell me. No, she, let's try it with a contraction here, wasn't. Was she fixing her bike? No, she wasn't. She was doing her homework. Was she doing her homework? Short answer, yes. Good. She was. You should be able to do these very well and very quickly by now. Was Clayton doing his homework? Answer, no. He wasn't. Was she watching TV? Yes, she was. Was she watching TV? Good. No. Tell me. She wasn't. No, she wasn't. Was she sitting under the tree? Let me hear you. Was she sitting under the tree? Yes, she was. Was he watching TV? Was he watching TV? No, he wasn't. Was he climbing the tree? Yes, he was. Were you climbing the tree? No. This is going to be first person. No, I was not. Slipped in a full sentence there, didn't we? The negative contraction, of course, would be no, I wasn't. And if you said no, I wasn't, of course, you were correct. Were you learning English? Yes, I was. Was I sitting under the tree? No. Second person. You weren't. Were they sitting under the tree? No. They weren't. Good. Were they, however, cooking a meal? Were they cooking a meal? Answer, yes, they were. Were we cooking a meal? No. We, good, weren't. No, we weren't. Were we studying English together? Yes, we were. Now, let's practice those negative and affirmative statements. Remember, when we do this exercises, we like to begin with our negative statement and then state the affirmative statement. So, was she fixing her bike or was she doing her homework? So, first of all, she wasn't fixing her bike. Good. She was doing her homework. She wasn't fixing her bike, she was doing her homework. Okay? Was he doing his homework or was he taking a bath? Okay? First the negative. Let me hear it. He. Good. He wasn't doing his homework. Now the affirmative statement. Good. He was taking a bath. He wasn't doing his homework. He was taking a bath. Okay, now there they are with the car. Were they cooking a meal or were they washing the car? Negative statement. They, good, weren't cooking a meal. They were washing the car. They weren't cooking a meal. They were washing the car. Now, let's take a look what's happening over here. Okay. Was Clayton fixing his bike, or was he watching TV? Okay, the negative statement. He wasn't watching TV. Positive? He was fixing his bike. I could have said, was Clayton watching TV or was he on TV, right? He wasn't watching TV, he was on TV. Okay, now, let's see what we have next here. Were you fixing your bike or were you watching TV? Okay, so now, first person, I. I wasn't fixing, let's have the possessive pronoun for first person. The possessive adjective, forgive me. I wasn't fixing my bike. I was watching TV. I was watching Clayton fix his bike on TV. Okay, now let's see what else we have here. Okay, let's watch this. See that again. Okay. Was the plane flying over the bridge or was it flying under the bridge? Okay? So, let's have first our negative statement. It wasn't flying under the bridge. It was flying over the bridge. Good. Now, let's practice our interrogatives. Why not, huh? Here is a simple statement. She was doing her homework. Make that statement into a question. We're going to invert the form of that was and she, right? So, from she was doing her homework, it becomes, was she doing her homework? Let's try another one. Oh, let's give the short answer. Yes, she was. He was taking a bath. Question? Was he taking a bath? Yes. He was. They were washing the car. Question? Were they washing the car? Answer? Yes, they were. The cat was sleeping. question? Was the cat sleeping? Notice how my voice goes up at the end of a sentence in English. The statement is, the cat was sleeping. The question is, was the cat sleeping? Sleeping? Hear that? That's the way that the voice works in English sentences. Answer? Yes, it was. You two were studying English is the statement. Please give me the question. Were you two studying English? Answer? Yes. We were. Good. First person plural, we. Statement, the man was eating a hamburger. Please make that into a question. Was the man eating a hamburger? Yes. He was. Was the man eating a hamburger? Yes, he was. You were watching TV. Make that into a question, please. Were you watching TV? Answer? Yes, I was. If someone asks a question of you, you answer in the first person. Were you watching TV? Yes, I was. Now, let's practice some interrogatives using the question word what. We'll start out the way that we were before, with making a question out of a simple statement. So, make a question out of this. She was doing her homework. The question is? Was she doing her homework? But now, if we add that question word, we'll start out with answering it. Yes, she was. But now, was she doing her homework? Let's ask, what was she doing? And now, what's the answer to that question going to be? It's the statement that we started out with, right? She was doing her homework. What was she doing? She was doing her homework. Now, he was taking a bath. The question is, was he taking a bath? Now, make a question using what? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, he was. Now, let's make that into a question using what? What was he doing? And the answer is our original statement, right? What was he doing? Good. He was taking a bath. They were washing the car. Make that into a question. Good. Invert subject and verb and add our question mark. Were they washing the car? Now, let's remember to answer it first, right? Yes, they were. Now, ask our question using what? The core of the sentence is still going to be that inverted subject and verb. What? Right. What were they doing? Answer. What were they doing? They were washing the car. The cat was sleeping. First, the question. Was the cat sleeping? Answer. Yes, it was. Was the cat sleeping? What was the cat doing? Answer. It was sleeping. That is our lesson about the past continuous tense. I was having a good time teaching this lesson to you, and I hope you were having a good time learning. Thanks for joining me here at Language Exchange International.